New updates means new investment opportunities, but there's a few things I think you should be wary of, specifically regarding the buy wheel menu as well as the case drop rate changes. Now, before we get into that, I would like to ask you to subscribe. I'm trying to hit 500 subs by the end of the month. Now, starting off with the case drop rate change. From the surface, this is definitely a good update for investors because, for those of you that don't know, case drops are now specifically tied to when you level up in CSGO, limiting you to 1 case per week. Basically meaning that you have to play to actually get your cases while also limiting the amount of cases you can get, meaning no more idle farmers, which will bring down the supply. Now, there is an argument to be made on either end of the spectrum saying that either our case supply will increase per week or decrease, but personally I do believe it will decrease, and that's because of the fact that before you could earn 2 cases per week and now you can only earn 1, and with the massive scale of idle farming, a lot of those cases are going to be cut down, but it still could go either way because depending on how you decide to play your games in CSGO, you can earn the XP to level up very quickly, which some people have been arguing. So I won't definitively say which is going to happen, but I would be speculative going into this because Valve has shown in the past, even very recently, that they don't care too much about the investment scene, as they released the Paris stickers borderless, which kind of tanked the market for a lot of Antwerp and Stockholm investors, and that's not the only time that they've kind of screwed over investors. So I wouldn't rely on them to be making this change only for investors at all. And so the main problem that I have with this is that if the case prices go up too high, the amount of openings might start dropping because the case prices are so high. And at that point, what is Valve going to do to make the most money? They're going to do something like release a new case, tweak the drop rates a little bit, or something like that, where more cases are going to be supplied into the market, meaning prices will drop. And they can do this at any time, and they have done this at any time. Especially going into CS2, we're going to see such an influx of players and an influx of players that want to open cases. And at the rate we were going before, we were eating through more cases than were being supplied each month, meaning eventually we'd use them all up. And so if they lower the drop rates even more, we'll eat up the supply even faster. So I'm not specifically saying anything will happen, I'm just saying be wary of this. And the only way to circumvent this and keep yourself safe is going to be looking at the discontinued cases, as they will be the least affected by Valve, most likely. But I can't guarantee anything, of course. Now, moving on, I want to talk a bit about the buy menu. And again, for those of you who don't know, the most recent CS2 beta update has made it so that you can carry 15 weapons into any given match, meaning you're going to have to pick and choose which weapons you actually want to take in. This cuts down on your options within any match, which is both good and bad for investors. In the ways it's good is going to help all those guns that have the better alternative to them, as they'll see most likely more use, such as the M4A4, which I think a lot of you guys might see coming, where now people can equip the M4A4 and the A1S in the same game, meaning the skins will be a little more valuable as people might actually use them occasionally. In the ways that it's bad is going to be for all of those unpopular guns that we most likely will never see again. For example, the Negev, PP Bison, any of the quote-unquote forgotten skins that you don't see in the everyday common match. And then on top of that, there was a point that was brought up by, I believe, the War Owl, saying that with this new system, it opens a perfect avenue for Valve to release new weapons that carry the same role as previous existing weapons, such as a new sniper, because then it requires the average player to make a choice between which snipers they'd actually want to bring in the game, or rifles, or anything of the sort. Which brings me to the point that if you are investing in any of these play skins or own expensive play skins, it's important to know what you're going into, and it's important to focus on the staples. Basically, AK and AWP and M4 are all going to be too much of a staple to CSGO's identity to be really moved around that much by Valve, so I wouldn't worry too much about those skins. But yeah, those are my main concerns with the most recent updates, because who's going to want to bring a troll weapon into a match of their competitive ranked game? But I hope this video helped. Let me know if you like this kind of update video, and I'll see you in the next one.